Energized show, up the Irish.
Okay, what's going on, guys? And welcome to a brand new episode of Energized, brought to you by Forged Irish Stout. Ross,
Are you intoxicated or something?
how are you keeping, bud?
Man, I'd be dying to be intoxicated after some of that Forged Irish stew. Unbelievable.
Forged Irish Stew, baby.
Yeah. Look class out. We're another episode of the Ultimate Fighter Deep. That's why we're here.
Week 9,
is that
Ross.
Episode 9, yeah. Episode 9
Episode 9.
We saw the lightweight semi-finals go down between Austin Hubbard and Roosevelt Roberts. It was an episode that was half fighting, half the show. So it's obviously we'll discuss a small bit about the fight, but I suppose the kick the episode off was we saw the semi-finals being made, and we also got to see people have the opportunity to change allegiance to Team McGregor. Barry, do you think Dana White was right? Do you think more people would have moved to McGregor's team if it wasn't for the outburst at the end of the last episode?
I actually don't think so. I think they've been on Team Chandler the whole way through. Chandler knows how they all perform in the build up to fights, all the training, and if they were then to move to McGregor's team, then Chandler would know everything about them, be like, right, do this, do that, do the other. You know what I mean? So I think they were smart to stay on the same team. Bar obviously Brad Katona going to Team McGregor finally, Ross.
Yeah, finally there, wearing that blue. We love to see it, or teal, some people might say. But what a move! What a move!
Why wasn't it green, by the way?
Probably should have been green. Brad Katona has moved across team. I thought it was going to be sort of instantaneous, but it looks like we don't really see much of that till next week. It's hard to get the timeline right of what actually happened on what day. But Brad Katona is now Team McGregor. So it's himself and then Ricky. So just the two dogs there. Rico, sorry, just the two dogs there at bantamweight. So the lightweights have all stayed Team Chandler. I actually think. I'll actually ask yourself, Baz. Do you think after watching Hubbard versus Roosevelt Roberts, which wasn't the most entertaining fight, but also I don't want to shit in it too badly, it wasn't the worst fight of all time. Do you think one of them should have moved to Team McGregor in hindsight?
No, I think they're both still right.
Personally, I would have thought Roosevelt Roberts should have moved across. I think with his striking style, I think he actually could have picked up a few tips from Team McGregor, and I felt like McGregor was underlyingly up for him. He was sort of giving him a small bit of coaching. I don't think he gave really Austin Hubbard any coaching.
Yeah, but how many days would they have had training with Conor?
I don't even think it's necessary the days. It was absolutely pin drop silence when they were fighting. So
yeah, you could hear the feet dragging across the mat.
Yeah, there was no coaching from either end. So just actually have someone in your corner and give you some advice.
The most talking was from the two lads fighting each other.
Yeah, and they were
too much best friends there, wasn't it?
They were. Look, didn't sit well with me that fight. I actually thought Roberts won. I actually thought Roosevelt Roberts slammed the better shots. And
I thought Roberts won round 1, and then I thought Austin won round 2, and then it was just a bit of a stalemate at the end of the day. They were obviously number 1 training partners.
Yeah, of course. And look, it was a split decision, so it's not like I'm not claiming robbery here or anything like that. I just thought I had it scored for Roberts, but again, much of a muchness really. What did you make of Roberts having to cut off his hair to make weight? Got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do. Well, yeah, maybe
I
probably could have shaved the armpit hair or something. Maybe
Yeah, I'm not really just a massive fan of someone having that long a hair if they want to fight. It's going to get in the way at some stage. So I'd rather they didn't have it. But
was it the last time that happened? Was Brian Ortega?
Potentially, it sort of happened a few times. I've seen it, but I can't. He's probably the most notable one for it to happen. So you see, sometimes fighters arrive with the shaved head to the scale, and you're like, oh, they obviously knew they weren't making the weight, and they've already done it. And someone go on the scale, don't make the weight, and then shave the head. So, although it was interesting to hear the commission be like, "Oh, if he shaves his head, he'll allow it." I was like, whatever it says on the scale is your weight. So, like, you can't be like, oh, "No, you can't cut your hair." Like, if that's what he wants to do, that's what he can do. Like, I just thought that was a bit of a strange interaction. That.
Yeah, maybe you should have laid off the forged Irish stew, Ross.
Yeah, get
We always seem to be talking about food in this show.
We do indeed, but I actually think was did I not see on the Black Forges Inn that they were Liam, the main man, the head honcho in the Black Forge Inn. He was actually with the chef there. They were pouring pints of Forged Irish Stout into the stew. So we'll have to hit the guys up for a few more cans, and we'll have to make a Forged Irish Stew at home.
I think you've had enough cans, Ross.
I need more cans.
Do you think 5 cans was enough to put into the stew, Ross?
Nah, like, how many people were there? About 15? You need at least 10 cans in there.
No, would have been more. 2 teams, 8, 16, and then
Yeah, but they didn't feed all Team Chandler's.
Yeah, but you know how it is. If someone's cooking food over there, you're like, I don't want that. And if someone's like, here, there's more left, you're like, first up to get it.
Absolutely. Look, you can't beat a good stew.
Yeah.
So, fair play to Conor coming in and feeding the fam. Didn't see Chandler coming in and feeding the fam.
You know, I mean, Conor sets the standards here, Ross.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What did you make of the Black Forge Inn, by the way? Run down a Forged Irish Stout.
Look, when it's the most sought after drink in the country, like that, these things happen. You know what I mean? Selling out a carry out off license like there's no tomorrow. It's tasty stuff. Like, you know what I mean? It really, really is. You can't beat it. So I'm not surprised it's selling out left, right, and centre from everywhere. Sure, Conor himself had to go do an emergency run to the brewery to get a few extra kegs in. So load up the range and get the kegs over. You know.
I thought I saw John Kavanagh in a Bentley, man.
He was in the Bentley, but that was just for the tour, you know. But look, that looks like some operation they have there. So who knows? Maybe we'll get a tour of it ourselves someday.
Yeah, maybe at the Christmas party.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But for people tuning in right now, Ross, next week Bragatona is taking on Timor Valuev, and like that's one that the whole country would be very interested in, Ross.
Yeah, that could be a final for me. I think they're the 2 best bantamweights left. I think those 2 guys are definitely elite UFC level talent. Timur Valiev gets a visit from Islam Makhachev. I wonder, does Islam Makhachev cross paths with Conor McGregor at any stage? If he does, that would be very, very interesting.
This is number 1 bullshit.
But, yeah, look, I'm here for it. Let's see how it goes. But Bragatono's moved to Team McGregor. He's got his wish, and let's see how that goes from.
I think we all got our wish there, Ross.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, TUF is heating back up. And let's see how Team Chandler's team takes that Brad's moved across.
I can't wait. He put a post out being like, Brad put a post out being like, check me out on TUF next week to see if I make it to the finale, and I put a gif in winking.
Yeah.
So I have a good feeling seeing that, Ross.
Yeah, hopefully so. You up to Bragatona. It'd be funny if McGregor won 1 fight in the quarterfinals and had 2 people in the final.
Yeah. The comeback's on, man. The comeback is on.
The comeback is on.
One thing that has proven the comeback is on is the return of Rhys McKee and Ken Lochran to the UFC. I know, well, like return for Rhys and Ken Lochran also signing to the UFC. Sorry, I couldn't.
No, I know what you meant. Yeah, no, Rhys is back. Look, well deserved. Like that fella has finished everyone that Cage Warriors put in front of him. He won the belt. He defended the belt. A lot of people are fans of Rhys. A lot of people are fans of his fighting style. He's really shown he's improved levels. I feel like if you look at his picture on UFC.com versus you look at his picture of him with the Cage Warriors belt, like he's actually filled out so much.
A few more tattoos.
Yeah, a few more tattoos. I wonder is that some of that stealth training kicking in that he does up there. Look, he seems to have found new levels to the game. He seems to be predominantly doing his training camps up at Fight Academy Ireland. They have about 60 bodies on the mat at all times. Like it's
all the time, even when it's closed, Ross.
Yeah, even when it's closed. So he's getting the work in there with Pat and Chando. So great to see. Can't wait to see him back in there September 2nd in Paris.
Yeah.
And
If
then
you haven't checked out our show with Reese, make sure to check it out. It was a special occasion.
yeah, and then as for Caelan Loughran, like, you know, this guy, he talks the talk, but he backs it up. He's definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with at bantamweight. He's not there to make any friends. He's there to get to the top. And you could.
I'd love to
definitely
see him in a
fast-tracked.
tough season, Ross. Sorry for interrupting. I'd love to see him in a tough season.
Yeah, I don't think he'd rub too many people up the wrong way. Whenever we're in the DMs with him, like, he basically tells us everyone's shite. So
Even
it's
us.
even us. So it's going to be very interesting to see how he does get on. But look, he's a very talented individual. He's got great wrestling pedigree. Does a lot of rounds in with Mike Grundy over in Team Cowbon. We've seen him get some nice submission wins, and you know, his striking is always elite. Like, that's what we see him beat Dylan Hazan with over in Italy to capture that Cage Warriors title. So yeah, Caelan Loughran is definitely someone to watch out for come September 2nd.
Yeah, when he's striking, he reminds me of Darren Till in a way.
Yeah,
But that's
he does
obviously
have
from
that
team.
sort of that bit of bounce on his step.
Yeah, but yeah. Speaking of Irish MMA, over the weekend, UFC London went down, and Shauna Bannock competed on the card. Now, the whole way through, Ross, like the hype Shauna was getting was actually pretty sensational. It was. But do you think she was getting more hype than Ian Gary did in his debut?
I think so. I think if you look at that UFC London card, she was one of the most looked at people in the entire card. I know she was fighting the second fight of the night, but you know, in terms of what was going on, the clicks, who was watching whose interviews, you know what I mean? She was the one people were really, really looking out for. She was on the BT Sports or TNT Sports, whatever they're calling it these days, with Bisbing and the
TNT.
lads. So like she was getting the rub there.
Ariel.
Ariel had her on. You know what I mean? She was getting the rub off all the right media at the right time. So she held herself really, really well. Obviously, Conor sponsored her with Forge Irish Stout. So great to see them. Not only looking after us, they're looking after her as well. Incredible to see, and everyone was really invested in her this weekend. And to be honest, I'm not surprised. Like, she's built for it. I think she's a superstar in the making. I suppose if you want to get into the fight, obviously, you know, not many people get to strap on the gloves 6 fights into their career. It's quite a rare occasion, and especially one who as highly touted as she is coming into it. And look, maybe the occasion slightly got to her a bit. Maybe she was a bit nervous. I think, you know, she probably didn't fight her perfect game plan the way she normally does. It was sort of a lot on the feet. There wasn't as much grappling as we've seen in previous fights. And I think it was a bit of a point style fight. And I think maybe if she sits down on her shots a bit more and puts a bit more power on them, I think it could have been a different outcome. I don't think, you know, if she fights Bruno Brazil again in her next fight, I don't think you're necessarily going to get the same fight again. I think she has all the tools there to get the job done. We'll just have to, you know, really put them together and, you know, have a better showing on the night. And I think she knows that and we know that.
Do you think would you say Bruno Brazil would be one of the biggest women in the division?
Yeah, like, must be. Like, it's sort of hard to say for definite. Like, I had no idea what size she was going to be going into that fight, but
yeah,
she looked really, really big. Like, she looked like she'd easily be bigger than a lot of flyweights as well. So it will be interesting to see in Shauna's next fight. Like, is Shauna somewhat undersized? Like, it made me question me being like, is Shauna undersized for strawweight?
Yeah,
I didn't think she was, but like against Bruno Brazil, she definitely looked it. You know what I mean? So I don't know how big Bruno Brazil is, but like, she looked big, and look, she hit hard as well, Bruno.
Yeah, like she gave Shauna a few smacks, and like Shauna was just like bit down the gum shield and came for more. Like,
yeah,
Shauna proves she's worthy of being there.
Yeah, she has a good chin. She's definitely worthy of being there. I look forward to seeing her fight again. It's not like she got absolutely blown out the water. Like,
no, she got better through each round. I thought she lost the first round. I thought the second round was very close, and then the third round I thought she won.
Yeah, she wasn't a million miles away from stealing the decision, in my opinion. Yeah. I felt like she definitely won the round 3. I felt like she definitely lost round 1, and like I feel like she marginally lost round 2. But like, one or two big shots the other way.
Yeah.
And yeah, I would give them to her. So like, yeah, I don't really doubt it, to be honest.
Yeah, but no, Sean will be back. Like, look, 15 minutes in the bank there.
Mm.
Like now she knows what the level is. I think she's going to come back stronger from it, and that's when we put the post out as well, being like, look, all week she got it, she got some serious backing. The whole country were tuning in, looking forward to seeing it. Like, you know, what I mean, it was on. My dad was even watching it. I know he watches our shows. Shout out that, but he was at home watching the fights as well, and it just had loads of people talking about it. I felt like it was necessary to put a post out after. Even Conor sent us a DM for like telling us what he thought of the fight and how much of a star he sees Shauna being and is and will be as well. Look, as you said earlier, not many people get to lace up the gloves after 6 professional fights, and there's plenty more to come. And Ross, like at the moment now, there's 5 Irish UFC fighters in the UFC, and you made an unbelievable poster there yesterday. I would lie and say I made it, but this time I have to give you the credit, bud.
Yeah, I think UFC Dublin 2024 is on the cards more than it's ever been. I think we might be looking somewhere around July. It's probably going to be 3 arena, but you know we're vying for Crow Park or the Aviva. I think we could definitely fill it one way or the other. Look, it's going to be spectacular. I think all those guys should get fights on the card, but like there's plenty more to come as well. How Paul Hughes hasn't been signed at this stage, I don't know, but surely he's the next man in. Kiefer Crosby as well. Like his win over Cowboy Oliveira was very, very impressive, getting the finish, especially considering Oliveira then went on to fight in Titan and got an impressive win himself. So it just goes to show that like Oliveira wasn't down and out.
No.
Also, we have Andreas Binder, who just won the LFL lightweight title. He looks like he's going to be a handful at lightweight.
Yeah, definitely.
He just beat Aidan Lee, who was a teammate of Leon Edwards, so like that's a huge win. Danny McCormick, who's the Invictus strawweight champion, she's definitely thereabouts. One more win and she could be signed herself. And then obviously Lee Hammond's competing on TUF, so we're just waiting to hear whether he's got that contract in the bag. And then obviously we have the adopted Irish sons like Johnny Walker, Gunnar Nelson, Brad Gatone as well. So like, there's so many people to be signed.
And Molly McCann.
And Molly McCann. So many people who are like primed and ready to fight on that next UFC card. And like, who knows what else will come around by the time that Dublin card comes around. Like, some of the people could have 2 or 3 fights and really put themselves in a prime position to get signed to the UFC come July next year.
Is there any other? I know you mentioned 5 potential fighters, but is there anyone else that you think could be on the come up, Ross?
I think they're the main ones right now, but like obviously there's people who are thereabouts in terms of like the next lineup. Like, you know what I mean? Like if Ryan Shelley gets a win or 2, and like, you know what I mean, that call comes, because I know sometimes the call comes before the belt. That can happen as well. James Sheen's probably 2 wins away from fighting for a Cage Warriors welterweight title. Like, who's to say that one doesn't come about as well? Leon Hill, like, you know what I mean, like he's on a tear at the moment, fighting this weekend Cage Warriors in Rome. You know what I mean, like George Hardwick's gonna vacate that Cage Warriors lightweight belt, and he's an undefeated star on the rise. So who'll say he doesn't win that lightweight belt and get signed to the UFC as well? So there's a few coming from a few different avenues. And then like I know up in Fight Academy Ireland, like they're really high on Paddy McCarry. Could be a bit early from come July next year, but like that man looks like he's got all the potential in the world to get the job done.
Yeah. And maybe even Redzer. Also, shout out Andy Ryan. It's Andy Ryan's birthday today.
If one of us go to war, we all go to war.
Ross, but like just wrapping up UFC London, like that was a huge win for Tom Aspinall there. Who would you actually like to see him fight next? Because the poll we put out, either Jones or Miocic, the winner of that fight, or else Pavlovich. The majority of people pick Pavlovich.
I think you do. Co-main event, UFC 295 in Madison Square Garden. Tom Aspinall versus Sergey Pavlovich. And that way you also have a built-in replacement if one of the lads falls out to fight for either the belt or the interim belt. I think it's the way to do it. Although I also sort of feel like if Jones got injured and Stipe was still there, I'd keep the Aspinall-Pavlovich fight in place and make that for the interim. Because I really like Pavlovich versus Aspinall as a fight. I think it doesn't go past one round. I think both lads are just on tear at the moment. But I'd also love to see Pavlovich and Aspinall both fight John Jones.
Unbelievable as always, Ross. Like, sometimes when you speak, it's like music to my ears. Or else sometimes I'm like, what is he talking about? But Ross, Cage Warriors was also on over the weekend. Attacking Mandu was back in the win column, 3-2. He moved up a division 6 days notice. The attack is back, baby.
Yeah, he absolutely is. It was a phenomenal performance. Really, really composed. His striking was excellent. You'd never know he took that fight on 6 days notice. He bossed his opponent around the cage, who was undefeated, and he looked really calm and collected in there. It was one of the most impressive performances I've seen from the cat. And I can't wait to see
going
him
into
back
that,
in
Ross.
Big pressure going into it. I'd love to actually see him stick at featherweight. I think he looks really good at featherweight, and I'd love to see him stay at that weight class. I think he looks big for that weight class as well.
Yeah, but you think at bantamweight he would have been able to take them 4 shots to the groin?
Maybe not. Those shots to the groin were pretty harsh, to say the least.
They were very harsh. Yeah, and then in the main event, Mick Staunton defeated James Webb in the first round. That was a slobber knocker for how long it went on for, but Mick Staunton goes marching on. Ross, who else in the card impressed you? Because obviously there was wins for Charrier, there was wins for Vucenic, there was wins for Hardwick.
And Luke Riley as well. I think all 4 featherweights who won impressed us, but they were all supposed to win, I think, in our books. I'd actually love to see Luke Riley versus Harry Hardwick. I think that boxing between both them would be absolutely insane. I think that would be class. It might be one fight maybe too early for Luke Riley, but I wouldn't hate it. And I'd love to see
Luke Riley's next fight is already booked in for Manchester, by the way.
Perfect. Can't wait to see it.
Yeah, it's not against Harry.
Oh, he's already got an opponent and all.
Yeah, it was the opponent that he was meant to fight in his last fight in Manchester. He's fighting that guy again this time. I think he's Swedish.
Okay, well, fair enough. At least that's booked in. I suppose I think from that Manchester card as well. Am I right in saying James Hennon versus Harrella is booked? So, like, you know what I mean? There's very much the makings of a little featherweight tournament going on there. And I would love to see Charrier fight Paul Hughes over in Paris. I know we touched on that before, but you know, Charrier's obviously got a big following. He brings a crowd with him everywhere he goes, and a rematch versus Paul Hughes in Paris would be absolutely epic. We all saw what went down in York Hall when those two faced off, and how nuts the Irish fans are going, how nuts the French fans are going, and then that final exchange in the 5th round and stuff like that was it was an all-time classic for Cage Warriors.
We don't do if buts or maybes, lad, we do absolutes.
Yeah, man, it was. And I can't wait to see them back this weekend live in UFC Fight Pass, baby. In the main event, Hack is taking on Martigoni for the flyweight title, Ross. Also on the card is Mason Jones. He's finally got an opponent. He's taking on Alexandre Ribeiro. And also people have to watch out for James Power against Michael Pagani. And then Ireland, make sure to tune in. Team KF's Leon Hill is taking on Dimitriu Grelian, who had a viral knockout win against the undefeated Adam Cullen, Ross.
Yeah, absolutely. So big step up again for Leon Hill. Let's see if he can step up to the mark and get the job done and start marching towards that lightweight belt.
And then, Ross, obviously Saturday night, there is obviously Irish MMA fans. Make sure to check out Cage Conflict 10 SummerSlam. But UFC 291 is going down in Salt Lake City, and it is being headlined by Dustin Poirier against Justin Gaethje for the BMF title, Ross. The only title you ever wanted in life.
Exactly. One more shout out for Irish MMA. Armand Herzig and Shamrock are fighting on Octagon as well, so definitely make sure to check that out as well. You up those lads too. But yes, UFC 291. The BMF belt goes live from Salt Lake City in Utah. Justin Gaethje, the highlight, faces the Diamond, Dustin Poirier. This one is a rematch. Dustin Poirier won the first match. This has Fight of the Year candidate written all over it. But I think on this occasion, in my opinion, Justin Gaethje will get his hand raised, and he's going to walk out with the BMF belt. That's an official prediction, Baz.
What makes you think that? You're going to change your mind about 10 times this week, bud. So,
no,
what's making you
I'm
think
locking
that now?
in. After watching Justin Gaethje dismantle Rafael Fiziev in London, I thought that was an absolute excellent performance. I feel like it was the most calculated Justin Gaethje we've ever seen. And Salt Lake City is also a city that's in really high altitude, and Justin Gaethje trains at really high altitude. Obviously, Dustin Poirier trains in Coconut Creek, Florida. That has very low altitude, so I think the altitude is going to play a factor here. And I think Justin Gaethje is going to have the gas tank to go all day. I think Poirier is going to tire out, and I think Justin Gaethje is going to get a TKO finish in round number 3.
That smells like recency bias, Ross.
Nah, but that's what I'm predicting. that's what I'm going for, and he's the man. Like, he's the man.
Well, in fairness, like, I think they're both the men. Like, that's why they're fighting for the BMF title. I'm gonna have to go with just Dustin Poirier on this one. I just think like he just keeps getting better and better. He's beaten Gaethje before, and I think when you're going into a fight like this, like, it's going to be hard for Dustin not to believe he can do it again. So I'm gonna go Dustin Poirier. Ross, you're going Gaethje. You're trying to be the hipster's choice, rocking that new shirt, man. Typical.
That's it.
But Ross, like, the card is absolutely loaded. Like, this is a serious card. This may require an all-nighter. In the co-main event, Jan Blachowicz is taking on Alex Pereira. Poatan.
Yeah, I suppose there was talk. Is this one going to be made for the vacant light heavyweight title? Jamal Hill's vacated the belt. I think the winner of this goes more than likely going to fight Yuri Prohaska. For me, I probably shouldn't pick against him, but I'm going to pick against Jan Blachowicz, and I'm going to go for Pereira.
What?
I just think Pereira's strike on the feet is so slick. I think it's he holds so much power, and he's obviously doing training camps with Glover Teixeira now, who's one of his head coaches now. So I feel like
And
Pereira
chefs.
and chef. So I feel like Pereira is going to get the upper hand this one, and I have him walking out with the W, and I think he's going to fight Yuri Prohaska for the undisputed title next, which, I'm not going to lie, that's a pretty exciting matchup as well.
This actually seems like we planned this out, but I'm actually going for Jan Blachowicz. I think this fight could be like a mirror image of Jan Blachowicz against Israel Adesanya. Ross, do you think that should have been the main event? Because like, these two lads are both former champions, and in the main event, it's two former interim champions.
Well, there's no belt on the line. You know what I mean? The baddest man on the planet. You know what I mean? That has to go. That has to go in the main event.
No, it's baddest motherfucker.
Yeah, baddest motherfucker. Same
Not
thing.
baddest man.
Baddest motherfucker in the UFC has to be the main event. So no, I'm happy enough that see Gaethje and Poirier go for 5 rounds. I'm all about it. In fairness, I wouldn't mind if this is 5 rounds as well, but it's not. But look, it's going to be an unbelievable event. You know, you have Wonderboy Thompson versus Michelle Pereira. You have Bobby Green versus Tony Ferguson. You have Michael Chiesa versus Kevin Holland. Like, that main card is just absolutely stacked from start to finish. I can't wait for it. It's going to be an unbelievable event. And, you know what I mean? Get the cans of Forge Irish Stout from carry-out off license and sit in with the lads and have a blind Beano.
You forgot to mention the one and only Derek Lewis is on the card.
My balls are hot.
His balls are very hot. Barry Moore coming with the sound bites. But yeah, Baz, anything to close out with?
Ross, I think this was another good show. We have a few more guests coming on in the next few weeks. Make sure to tune in to them as well. Make sure to like, share, subscribe. If you're watching on UFC Fight Pass, make sure to give us a heart. Ross, always fascinating to talk to you, bud.
Always fascinating as ever. Guys, thanks a million so much for listening. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, smash that subscribe button, smash. Really helps us grow, and we really appreciate it. And as always, stay energized.
Energized show, up the Irish. Been sussing you guys a couple of times. I've seen a couple of clips. I think you done some interviews with Dylan Moran and that I saw. So keep going, keep up the good work, guys.